What's going on? I'm Nate from Perspective, and this video is going to be a quick demo of how to use Perspective AI to capture your customers' business objectives and take what you learn to build a personalized success plan for them. To keep this brief, I'm going to start from a template, and it's going to launch into this conversational experience where it's just going to ask me a couple of clarifying questions to ensure it gets the information that I really need. The first question here it's asking me is, who are my customers? I'll go ahead and just tell it customers of Perspective AI. Now it's asking me the types of roles that my customers typically have, and I'll tell it they work in customer success. Now it's asking me if I have, any ideas around the specific challenges or priorities that I think my customers might have. And in this case, I'm just gonna tell it, keep it general and ask them yourself. And just like that, after answering 3 questions, Perspective's created a conversation guide for me, which is going to be used for context for the conversation. And I'm able to review it and make sure that it properly understands my goals, who's participating in the conversation itself. Now, if I have any changes that I want to make, I can simply just come back here and tell Perspective what changes I want to make using natural language. The next step's going to be to actually preview the conversation experience as though I were one of my customers. I won't go through the whole thing, but just kind of want to show you briefly what that looks like. You can see here, it launches into another very conversational experience, and it's asking me, what are my primary business objectives for the upcoming quarter? And I'll tell it that I'm looking to do something like reduce churn. Next, it's asking me, what are the key results or indicators that I consider to be signs of success in achieving this? And I'll say, hitting 105% NRR. And I think you get the idea. Now, before I send this to my customers, I do have the ability to make some changes and ensure that the experience really is a strong reflection of my company and our brand. So I can do things like make changes to the interaction, like change the title, add a custom welcome message, put my headshot in and so on. I also have the ability to make changes to the theme so that the experience is branded, has my company logo, and in general is a strong reflection of the company itself. Once I'm done with those things, I'm ready to go to the next step, which is to invite participants to the conversation. I can put their email in here, I can copy a link. If I wanted to, I could even post this on social media or generate a QR code. Once you've started to get responses back from your customers, this is what you can expect to see. Here you can see I've got 5 completed conversations and a nice summary for each one of them. Now, if I want, I can do things like generate a magic summary. And in this case, it's going to look across all 5 of those conversations and extract common themes and common goals that all 5 of those customers might have, as well as make recommendations for me. But what I'm really trying to do is create a personalized success plan for each one of these customers. And to do that, I'll jump into one of the individual conversations themselves. Now, for every single conversation, I can go through and read line by line every question that Perspective asked and every answer that my customer gave. And then I'm able to analyze these conversations. I'll just start by asking Perspective, what are this customer's objectives for this quarter? And how do they plan to measure success? Now here's a nice readout for this particular customer. It looks like they're looking to enhance their client onboarding process, increase customer engagement, and drive retention by addressing churn risks. I can ask, all sorts of other questions, things like, recommendations, can I make to the customer? And it'll give me a list of recommendations. Now, I want to get my customers' feedback on this, and I want to make sure that they have access to everything that I've got here so that we can work against this plan. In order to do that, I'm going to create what we call a highlight. A highlight is a saved insight that I can come back to at any time and that I can also share. Now, I'm going to quickly do what we call annotate, and I'm going to give this highlight a title. We'll call it OKRs for Q1. And then I can give it a tag. In this case, I'll say that these are action items, and I'll save it. I'll do the same thing for these recommendations. I'll create a highlight, I'll annotate it, we'll call it recommendations, and I'll categorize this as recommendations. I'll save it. Now that I've created those highlights, I can come back to the overview and go to the actual highlight section itself, where I'm able to share this with my customer. You can see here that I've got a link that I can just simply copy and send to them. And when I do, this is what they'll see. A nicely stylized readout on recommendations that we have for them and specific action items around their OKRs for Q1. And just like that, I've been able to capture my customers' business objectives, build a personalized success plan for them, and send it off to get their input. And that's it. Thanks for watching.